I just want to say thank you so much for everybody that follows along. Before I start this, I think it's really, really fun to get to know you. Hopefully, someday I'll be able to get to know you in person. So I'm walking the dog right now, and it's early in the morning, so I can't talk too loud. But you can listen to the birds, anyways. Um, so, you know, when you build something for the first time, we have this sort of conception that or belief that everything kind of works out, and in no matter what it is that you're doing, right? Like, and everybody is doing something for the first time in their life. So right now, I'm building the Reciprocity project or the Reciprocity platform, and it's software, right? And we want, excuse me, it's early in the morning, so my voice is goofy, and we wanted to upgrade some features on it. But to do that, we needed to upgrade all of these servers that were running it. So this week, when we upgraded it, it worked fine on the sort of, it's called the sandbox, which is the sort of test site. It worked totally fine. And then we upgraded the regular site, and it all crashed. And it's been down for so it's working partly right now. There's just a couple of features that aren't working, but it was a couple of days that the site was down. And thankfully, not too many people are relying on it right now. Um, but it was still down long enough that I felt really bad, and that there's kind of some broken features on it. It doesn't really feel good when that happens. Um, that you're trying to provide this thing and we're working a lot at it. Uh, but I just want to remind everybody that no matter when you're building something, I mean, these things happen all the time, and it is not sort of a straightforward path. So I like to think of the similarity between this and building a house. Well, if you've built many houses over and over and over again, it gets really easy and it's pretty straightforward. But as soon as you build a new house, there's a lot of things that you gotta sort out, and things don't work as planned. They break. There's all sorts of things that are like that happen. And one way that you can view it is that this is going to sort of, this is the end of the world, and get all tense and angry and mad about it. Um, or another way you can take a step back and say, wait a minute, this happens all the time. This is completely normal. And I can just, go on with this as I'm doing it, and sort of say, just put it into the broader context of like, this is actually what's supposed to happen. This is the process. Um, and this is the same thing. And the reason why I'm getting good with this is that when you do research, I mean, it's time and time again, I've done a lot now. I've been able to write things hard to get published. Um, I've written a lot, analyzed a lot of data, uh, and every time that you do it, you know, you think that, oh man, it's not going to work. It's going to be broken. All of those kind of things. And when you do it, and you actually go through with it, um, almost inevitably, nothing works out as planned. It's broken. Things just don't work like the way you thought it was going to be. And when you experience that, inevitably you're like, oh, my life is over. I can't do this. All of those kind of things. But I'm at a point now that I'm just like, whatever. This is just part of the process. And we will just step through this and figure it out as we go. And I think that's like the thing that you have to remember is that, if you have this sort of static view of the world, that it's all just, groups of things that are fixed, then then it sort of all comes together. And whenever something happens, you kind of have this very negative feeling, and you don't really, you don't know what to do with yourself. But if you view everything as changing, and you're building on it, and you're trying to improve it, and sometimes, the quote unquote natural state is for things to not cooperate with you. Some of them do, some of them don't. But, this kind of like, don't expect it to sort of work at the beginning. If that's the natural state, then you realize that, hey, wait a minute, this isn't too bad, and I could do this. This is part of the process. This is part of what we're supposed to do, is to have all these hiccups. Um, and I think it's really important to teach people that is actually what happens. Is this kind of this messy, ugly process, and that is the natural state of what you should experience. It's a lot easier to take, if you're just like, yeah, whatever, okay, this is it, and this is what's supposed to happen. Then, then sort of thinking that your whole world is resting on this, and it's all going to implode. So I just want to remind everybody that, you know, the natural state of most things is a giant mess. It's very chaotic, and we should expect that every time. Like, that's what's supposed to happen. Even in your family life, um, whatever it is. I mean, if you don't have some chaos in your life, you're not really doing much. Um, and it's constantly changing. So this is like something that's important to realize, even if you're going through a divorce or anything like that. Like, you sort of think that there's um, this ideal, just walk through a sprinkler, ideal setup of how that's supposed to work. It's not true. You start looking around and going, wait a minute, everybody else is screwed up too. Everybody's family is all messed up. And that's the natural state. That is totally fine. And it gives you a completely different picture on things. And you get to the point where I get to the point where people are going to judge me for my messiness. I just like, screw you. It ain't worth it. So I just want you to sort of remember that the whole thing is, it's a challenge. It's not as straightforward as you think it is, and that is the process. It's not linear. It's not linear being this happens and this happens and this happens. It's messy, and that is completely fine. And you should give yourself plenty of grace when things happen, and be okay with what's going on. All right, that's all I wanted to say. I think that's an important thing to remember, is enjoy the process. That's it. It's a heck of a lot more fun when you take a step back and say, wait a minute, all of this is a giant mess, and I'm part of it. All right, take care, and have a wonderful day. Bye.